Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive.
It's good to be back.
Today, we're going to be tackling something
Yes.
that I think is really fascinating and actually can be super useful.
Mm-hmm.
We're diving into the world of body language.
Oh, very cool.
And a huge shout out to
Yeah.
London Heartbeats Academy in the UK for giving us this awesome training presentation,
Right.
which is going to fuel our discussion today.
I love it.
I was reading this and I was thinking like, wow,
Yeah.
if you could really understand this stuff, this is like a superpower.
It is.
You walk into a meeting and you can just tell
Exactly.
who's with you, who's not with you,
Yeah.
who's engaged, who's skeptical,
You got it.
who's about to ask a really tough question.
Absolutely.
It's like you have this secret decoder ring
Yeah.
for human behavior.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
And that's what we're going to be equipping you with today.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
let's dive right in.
All right.
I think it's amazing how much we actually communicate without ever saying a word.
It's a lot, right?
It's all these subtle signals and cues that our bodies are sending out all the time.
All the time, and we don't even realize it half the time.
Right. And I think this London Heartbeats Z Academy presentation really does a good job of breaking it down
It does.
in a way that's, relatively easy to understand.
Very practical.
And they start with,
Yeah.
I think, some of the most common scenarios. Like, let's just say,
Yeah.
how can you tell if someone is interested in what you're saying?
Right.
What are they doing?
Right.
If they are.
What are those cues?
What are those cues? Yeah.
Well, a big one, and you know this, is
Yeah.
eye contact.
Yeah.
Right? If somebody's giving you over 60% eye contact, they're probably engaged and listening.
Yeah. It's a good sign.
Right. But of course, you have to consider,
Right.
Somebody's baseline.
Right.
Some people are shyer than others.
Right.
But in general,
Yeah.
that direct eye contact, pretty good sign.
Like they're saying, I'm here with you.
Yeah.
I'm present.
Yeah.
I'm listening.
I'm with you.
Even if they don't say those words.
That's right.
What about leaning forward?
Oh, that's a good one.
I feel like this is something we all kind of do.
Yeah, we do.
Subconsciously when we're like really interested in something.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
you're leaning in.
you kind of lean in.
Trying to get closer to really absorb what that person is saying.
And what about nodding?
Nodding.
I think that's a classic sign of a girlfriend
that we all do
understanding
when we're following along with what somebody's saying.
It's a way of non-verbally saying, keep going.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I get it.
So if I'm in a meeting
Right.
and I'm seeing people leaning forward,
Yeah.
I'm seeing good eye contact.
I'm seeing some nods.
Yeah.
I can feel pretty good that my message is landing.
Probably so.
Let's take it a step further.
Okay.
Let's say you've presented an idea.
All right.
Now you're really looking for those signs that people are receptive to it.
Yeah.
How can you tell?
Yeah. Are they buying it?
If they're buying what you're selling?
So to speak. Right.
Give me the more advanced decoding techniques.
So, okay, one of the things that signals openness
Okay.
is open palms on the table.
Okay.
Right? It's like they're saying non-verbally,
Yeah.
I'm open.
Yeah.
I'm receptive
Yeah.
to what you're saying.
So if somebody has their palms like down flat on the table,
Yeah.
like pushing against it,
Mm-hmm.
that could actually be a sign of resistance.
It could be. Yeah, you always have to look at it in context.
Yeah.
But palms down can mean...
Right.
I'm kind of holding back here.
Interesting.
I'm a little defensive, maybe.
So open palms are green light.
That's right.
Palms down, maybe a little bit of a yellow light.
Proceed with caution.
Okay, proceed with caution.
A little bit.
And we've got our other cues, right? We've got the leaning forward. We've got the nodding.
Still good indicators of receptiveness.
So I see open palms.
Yep.
I see leaning forward.
Uh-huh.
I see nodding.
Yeah.
I can feel pretty confident.
That's good.
I've got a receptive audience.
You're reading the room like a pro.
And it's not just the posture.
Yeah.
It's their overall energy.
Right? It is.
Are they smiling?
Yeah. Are they?
Do they seem relaxed
Uh-huh.
but engaged?
Right. You can be relaxed but not engaged.
Right.
But are they relaxed and engaged?
So that positive open posture combined with, just that general feeling of relaxed engagement.
Relaxed engagement. That's a good way to put it.
Pretty good sign.
Yes.
That people are on board with your ideas.
Absolutely.
And what about this? Hands placed on the chest.
Oh.
This is one that I was
Interesting.
curious about because I feel like this can signal a few different things.
It can?
Like openness.
It can.
Sincerity. Honesty. Even dedication.
Yeah, like they're connecting their heart to their words.
The very grounding gesture. But I also feel like, in certain situations, this can be associated with
well,
romantic feelings.
Well, you can.
So how do we tease that out?
How do we tease that out?
Well, I think in a professional setting, it's probably more about genuine interest, engagement with the idea.
Okay.
But there is a caveat here.
Okay.
Particularly when we're talking about women's body language.
Okay.
Hands placed on the chest or breast area.
Okay.
Could be a sign of surprise or astonishment.
Interesting.
So again,
context is key.
Context is so important.
Yeah.
Because just like a word can have multiple meanings depending on how it's used, a gesture can have multiple meanings.
Exactly.
Depending on the situation.
So.
All right, let's shift gears a little bit.
Okay.
Let's say you've presented your idea.
All right.
Now you're watching your audience and they're processing it.
Yeah.
How can you tell if somebody is actively thinking?
Yeah. What are the cues?
About what you've just said?
Well, a classic sign of deliberation.
Okay.
Chin stroking.
Yeah.
Right? You see somebody striking their chin. They might be weighing pros and cons, making a decision, really thinking deeply about what you've just said.
It's like they're physically engaging with the idea.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Another one is what they do with their glasses.
Oh, interesting.
Right? If they wear them,
okay.
If they take them off and clean them, or put the frame in their mouth, that can also signal deep thought.
I do that.
You do?
Sometimes when I'm trying to concentrate, it's like I need to do something with my hands to help me focus.
Yeah.
It's very common.
It is.
What about pinching the bridge of the nose?
Oh, yeah.
With the eyes closed.
Another classic.
Oh, yeah. I've done that one, too.
Sure.
Especially when I'm feeling stressed. Or overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Is that always a negative sign?
It's not always negative.
Okay.
It could just be a way of trying to relieve stress.
Right.
Or focus intently.
Yeah.
But it's one to pay attention to. Especially if it's accompanied by other cues that suggest, frustration or disengagement.
So again, context is so important.
Always.
We can't
isolate one gesture.
Isolate one gesture.
And say, okay, that means this.
And assume that it means one specific thing.
That's right. This next one I was curious about.
Right.
A palm below the chin with the index finger.
Okay.
Extended along the cheek.
Okay.
And the other fingers beneath the mouth.
Yeah.
I've seen that before.
Yeah.
And I wasn't quite sure what to make of it.
Okay, so that's often associated with critical thinking.
Okay.
But it can also be a sign of criticism or even antagonism.
Oh, okay.
So again, one to watch carefully.
Okay, so if I see that one combined with avoiding eye contact or a furrowed brow, maybe I should
might want to
tread carefully.
Yeah,
it's about reading the whole picture, not just one gesture in isolation.
Yep.
Now, this next one I think is really important, especially for presenters.
Yeah.
How to spot boredom. Because let's face it, nobody wants to.
Nobody wants to be talked. Be the person giving a presentation.
To a room full of bored people.
To a room full of bored people.
Right.
What are the signs?
What are those signs?
Those early warning signs.
Well, one of the most obvious.
Yeah.
A head resting on the palm.
Yeah.
Often accompanied by drooping eyelids.
It's like they're physically trying to keep themselves awake.
Right. They've given up almost.
Yeah.
Right?
That one's hard to miss.
It is hard to miss.
Yeah.
And also their eyes, staring blankly, not really focused on anything.
Yeah.
Those eyes might even be glazed over.
Right.
Yeah, they have mentally checked out.
They've checked out.
They have checked out.
So you see a lot of heavy eyelids.
Heavy eyelids.
Blank stares.
Yeah.
It might be time to shake things up.
Definitely.
Yeah. And you mentioned shaking things up. That brings us to another sign of boredom fidgeting.
Oh, yeah.
Right. You've got the tapping hands or feet.
Yeah.
Clicking a pen nonstop.
Yep.
Restless movement in their seats.
All of those things can indicate that they're bored or uncomfortable.
Right.
Or just ready to leave.
Or they just want to get out of there.
Right.
It's like their body is trying to escape.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Their body is trying to escape.
And sometimes fidgeting can also mean they want to interrupt.
Yeah, it can be.
But they're trying to be polite.
Yeah.
Oh, I've done that.
You've all been there.
Like, subtly tapping my foot or clicking my pen. Like, just to kind of signal hey, I'm ready to jump in.
I have something to say.
Yeah. What about pulling or looking at their ears?
Oh, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, I've never thought about that one.
That can be a sign that they're not fully engaged.
Oh.
Right? And maybe even thinking about interrupting.
And that's one I'm going to have to watch for.
Yeah. Okay. And then, of course,
we've got the classic.
Classic yawn.
Yeah.
I mean, we all yawn when we're tired. But what about excessive yawning?
Excessive yawning.
Yeah.
What does that tell us?
Well, an occasional yawn might just mean they're tired.
Yeah.
But if you're seeing repeated yawns, that's a pretty clear sign that they're just not engaged.
So if you're seeing lots of yawns, heads resting on palms, maybe even feet pointed towards the exit.
Time to wrap it up?
Time to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we move on to our last category, I just want to recap what we've covered.
Yeah, good idea.
We've talked about how to spot engagement, receptiveness, deep thought, and boredom.
Okay.
Now let's tackle one more.
Right.
Important emotional state.
Yeah.
Nervousness or tension.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
How can we detect that?
Yeah, how do we spot that?
Through body language.
How about clenched fists?
Oh, yeah.
That's a pretty obvious sign of, anxiety or stress.
Makes sense.
Right.
It's that fight or flight.
It's that primal
response.
Kicking in, yeah.
What about other hand gestures?
Okay.
They can signal nervousness.
Well, we talked about tapping hands or feet as a sign of boredom.
Yeah.
But it can also be a sign of nervousness.
Okay.
And then there's a more subtle gesture, clenching the bottom edges of the fingers between both hands. So it's like a way people try to release nervous energy without being too obvious about it.
It's like the secret handshake for anxious people.
Exactly, right?
That's a good one.
And interlocking the hands.
Oh, yeah.
And whistling.
It can be
attempts to conceal nervousness.
Conceal nervousness. That's right.
It's like they're trying to create a barrier between themselves and whatever's making them anxious.
Yeah.
Right.
And of course we can't forget avoiding eye contact. Classic sign of nervousness.
Yeah. Now again, some people naturally make less eye contact than others.
Right.
But a sudden shift
towards
avoiding your gaze could indicate discomfort or anxiety.
It's like they're trying to make themselves invisible.
Yeah, become invisible.
Disappear from the spotlight.
It's a very natural response to those feelings.
Yeah, this is so fascinating. I feel like I'm starting to see these cues everywhere.
You start to see them.
Now that we've talked about it, it's like this whole other layer of communication has just been unlocked.
It's like you've got this new lens to look through.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Okay, so we've spent this first part of our deep dive becoming experts. Deciphering other people's body language.
Yeah.
But now I want to turn the tables a little bit.
All right.
And talk about our own nonverbal communication.
Okay.
Is this something we can actually control?
Good question.
Can we consciously use body language to project confidence, to build rapport, or even to influence how people perceive us?
That's the question, isn't it?
That is the question.
The $1 million question.
So we'll find out when we come back. That's right. I think the answer is yes.
You think so?
Yeah, you absolutely have the power to shape your body language.
So they're not just more impactful
passive senders of signals.
Yeah, than you might think.
Okay.
We can actually be active architects.
So we can be deliberate.
You got it.
About it.
There's this incredible mind-body connection at play.
Okay.
Think about it.
Yeah.
When you feel confident, you naturally stand taller.
Yeah.
Your shoulders relax.
Right.
Your head lifts.
Yeah.
You smile more readily.
Yeah.
It all flows effortlessly.
Yeah, it does feel effortless.
That inner feeling of self-assuredness.
So even if we're not consciously thinking about it, our body language is constantly reflecting our internal state.
Our internal state.
Yeah.
Okay. But can it work in reverse?
Can
we use our
That's the really interesting question.
Body language to influence how we feel?
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely.
Okay.
This is where it gets fascinating.
Yeah.
Studies have shown that even if you're feeling nervous or insecure, if you just adopt a more confident posture.
Chest open, shoulders, back, head held high.
Okay.
It can actually trigger all these physiological changes that boost your confidence and decrease your stress hormones.
So we can like trick our brains
It's like fake
with our bodies.
Till you make it.
Fake it till you make it.
But on a biological level.
Yeah.
It really is.
That's so cool.
It is.
Oh, it's not about being.
Yeah, and it's not about being phony or manipulative.
Right.
It's about understanding this powerful mind-body connection and using it to your advantage.
So if I want to project confidence in a meeting, I can actually practice.
You can.
Standing tall.
Yeah.
Making eye contact.
Right.
And using
open hand gestures.
Open hand gestures.
Yeah.
To kind of trigger those
feelings
of self-assuredness.
That's it.
I love that.
Yeah.
And the same goes for...
And the same goes for building rapport.
Building rapport.
Right. If you want to create a connection with someone, mirroring their body language subtly can signal that you're on the same wavelength.
Subtly.
Yeah.
Subtly.
Catching.
Right. It shows that you're listening.
Yeah.
That you're engaged.
Yeah.
And it can create this sense of trust and understanding.
So just by being mindful
of our own body language.
Yeah. We can influence how we feel.
Influence how you feel.
Yeah.
But we can also...
And how others perceive you.
Absolutely.
How others perceive us.
It all starts...
And interact with us.
With awareness.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I know.
The more you pay attention to those nonverbal cues, the more you can use them intentionally to communicate more effectively and achieve the outcomes that you desire.
A mind-blowing, deep dive.
Powerful stuff.
I feel like I've learned so much.
And... Speaking of learning, a huge thank you to London Heartbeat Z Academy again.
Big thanks to them
for providing this incredible training presentation.
They're doing great work.
They've done such a good job of taking this complex topic.
Yeah, it can be complex.
And making it,
Yeah, they've made it
accessible.
Very accessible.
And understandable. And empowering.
Absolutely.
And if you're listening, and you are,
and you're as intrigued by this as we are,
as we are,
check out their work.
But definitely check out London Heartbeats Academy.
Heartbeats the Academy.
You can find them on Facebook, Instagram,
and YouTube. They're all over the place.
And of course, to make sure you don't miss out on our next.
Yeah, don't forget
deep dive
too.
Hit that subscribe button.
And on Spotify.
On Spotify, that's right. We'll be back next week.
Yeah, we'll be back.
With something totally new.
With more to explore. Absolutely.
So stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned.
We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
We are.
So be sure to follow us there as well.
For more deep dives.
For even more
insightful discussions.
Great content.
Thought-provoking content.
Now, before we wrap up.
Yeah.
I want you to leave us. With a final thought.
All right.
To ponder.
Okay.
So we've talked about
how
to read other people's...
Yeah, reading other people's body language.
But what about our own?
Ah, good question.
How much control?
Yeah, how much control
do we really have?
Over
the signals we're sending?
Over those signals.
And can we use that knowledge?
And we use it.
To communicate more effectively?
Yeah.
Or even to influence others?
Ooh, that's what we're going to explore.
That's a great question.
In our final segment.
So it's like taking everything.
So get ready.
We've learned about decoding other people's body language.
What is that fascinating connection?
Turning the spotlight.
Between your mind.
On ourselves.
Your body.
Can we hack?
Our own body language.
Sending to the world.
To get what we want.
That's right.
Okay, so we've spent the last 2 parts of this deep dive learning how to be expert body language decoders.
Exactly.
But now it's time to turn the tables.
Okay.
And look at our own nonverbal communication. How much control do we have?
Yeah, how much control?
Over the signal.
Over those signals, right?
That we're sending out.
Can we actually use this?
And can we use that?
To communicate better.
To influence people.
To communicate better.
Absolutely.
To influence people.
Big question. That's a great question.
Right, and the answer is yes.
And the answer is yes.
Yeah, you absolutely have.
So we're not just...
The power to shape your own body language.
Yeah.
Passive senders of signals.
And it's more impactful than you might think.
We can be.
It really is.
Active architects.
We can be architects.
Of our nonverbal communication.
Nonverbal communication. That's right.
Okay. So we can be deliberate about it.
Yeah. There's this incredible mind-body connection at play.
Okay. Tell me more about that.
So think about it.
Okay.
When you feel confident,
yeah,
you naturally stand taller.
Yeah.
Your shoulders relax.
Right.
Your head lifts.
Yeah.
You smile more readily.
It feels effortless.
It does. It flows effortlessly from that inner feeling of self-assuredness.
So even if we're not consciously aware of it.
Even if we're not consciously thinking about it.
Our body language.
Our body language is reflecting our internal state.
Is reflecting our internal state.
All the time.
But can it work the other way around?
That's the question.
Can we use our body language?
That's the really interesting question.
To influence.
Can we influence how we feel?
How we feel. Really?
This is where it gets fascinating.
Wow. Okay.
Studies have shown that even if you're feeling nervous or insecure, simply adopting a more confident posture, chest open, shoulders back, head held high.
I'm doing it right now.
You got it.
Can actually trigger
all these physiological changes.
Physiological changes.
That boost your confidence.
That boost my confidence.
And decrease your stress hormones.
Like we can trick.
It's like fake it till you make it.
Our brain.
We're in a biological level.
With our bodies.
Isn't that amazing?
It's like fake it till you make it.
It is.
But on a biological level.
It really is.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and it's not about being phony or manipulative.
So it's not about being...
It's about understanding this powerful mind-body connection.
Right.
And using it to your advantage.
So if I'm going into...
So you're going into a meeting.
A meeting.
And you want to project confidence.
And I want to project confidence.
You can practice standing tall.
I can practice standing tall.
Making eye contact.
Making eye contact.
Using open hand gesture.
Using open hand gestures
to
trigger those feelings.
Those feelings of self-assuredness.
Of self-assuredness. I love it.
You got it.
What about...
And same for building rapport.
Building rapport.
Yeah. You want to create a connection with someone.
Okay.
Mirroring their body language subtly.
So like subtly
mirroring can signal that you're on the same wavelength.
Okay.
It shows you're listening, you're engaged.
Basically saying...
And it can create this sense of trust and understanding.
Like, hey, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I see you.
You got it.
I understand you.
That's powerful stuff.
So just by being mindful of our own body language,
you can
influence
how you feel and how others perceive you.
How we feel.
It all starts with awareness.
But we can also influence how others perceive us.
The more you pay attention.
And interact with those.
To those nonverbal cues.
That's amazing.
The more you can use them intentionally.
That really is.
To communicate more effectively.
I'm blown away by it.
And achieve the outcomes that you desire.
This whole deep dive.
That's powerful stuff.
I feel like I've learned so much.
Yeah.
And speaking of learning,
well,
I want to thank London Heartbeats Academy again.
Big thanks to them.
For this incredible training presentation.
They're doing great work.
If you're listening and you're as fascinated by this topic.
And you're as fascinated by this as we are.
As we are.
Check out their work.
Definitely.
Check out
London Heartbeats Academy.
Yeah, you can find them.
You can find them on
Facebook, Instagram. And YouTube. They're all over the place.
All over the place.
That's right.
And to make sure you don't miss out.
Yeah, don't forget.
On any of our future.
To subscribe Deep Dives.
To the Deep Dive, hit that subscribe button.
On Spotify. We'll be back next week with more to explore.
We'll be back next week.
Absolutely.
With a brand new topic.
Yeah.
To explore.
Stay tuned.
So stay tuned.
That's right.
We are also on...
And we're also on...
Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So be sure.
Yeah. For even more deep dives, insightful discussions, thought-provoking content.
To follow us there as well.
Be sure to follow us there.
For more deep dives.
That's right.
More insightful discussions.
Until next time.
And more thought-provoking content.
Keep those eyes peeled, those minds open.
Until next time.
And those bodies communicating.
Keep those eyes peeled.
With confidence and intention.
Keep those minds open.
Yeah, that's right.
And keep those bodies communicating with confidence and intention.
Bye.
We'll see you next time.